Yeah. Okay. So, hello everyone. Welcome. I'm Steph. I am 31 years old. I grew up in Belfast, Northern Ireland, in a mixed religious household. However, I attended Catholic schools. So, almost half of Northern Ireland school children are being taught in an environment where 95% or more of the pupils are of the same religion. And even though I have Protestant family, this meant that the majority of my friends growing up were from a Catholic background. A girl I attended school with told me about a cross community initiative that brings together young people on both sides of the conflicted religious divide. I thought this sounded like a great opportunity. And luckily, I was given the chance to become a participant in the Friends Forever program when I was 16 years old in 2005. And I know it's hard to believe that I was that young that long ago. My experience in the year long program was completely unexpected and unlike any other project I'd been a part of. I engaged in trust exercises with people I had just met. I put myself and my story out there and was welcomed with open arms by my team. My confidence and resilience grew while traveling away from home for the first time without family. My understanding and empathy broadened by listening to others, and my want to work with young people developed. Since my time as a participant with Friends Forever, I have volunteered in my local youth club, taught drama to disadvantaged teens, worked in a summer camp in Long Island, and moved to Australia to become an au pair, which, thanks to my skill building phase with Friends Forever, I had the courage to do so on my own. Fast forward to this year, I qualified as a counsellor in June, and I offer my therapeutic services to a charity who support young people with mental health difficulties. Being a counsellor, I share and uphold similar values and philosophy to Friends Forever. By having authentic interaction and listening to others with an open heart and compassion, motivating others to share their vulnerabilities, by allowing people to have the ability to overcome challenges and face their fears by encouraging them to view failure as an opportunity to grow, learn, and make a difference in their lives and in the world, by helping others identify creative solutions to problems and provide them with the tools and guidance to turn their ideas into lasting change. While planning a trip to New England for Halloween 2020, and I'll let you all guess how that went, I was inspired to dig out my scrapbook I had made from my Friends Forever experience for inspiration of destinations I had fantastic memories of. I came across business cards for Craig Kelleher and Kristen Rand, two people that made my trip to New Hampshire unforgettable. I reached out as I not only wanted to catch up with them, but also thank them for the kindness and generosity they showed me and my group back in 2005. Craig took us flying in small planes and driving in vintage cars. Kristen introduced me to the world of American cheerleading and hot tubs, and they both joined us in various activities, including a trip to Boston. In reconnecting with them, this then encouraged me to look up Friends Forever, and to my absolute pleasure, discover that the program was not only still running, but it had grown massively in 15 years. Not only does FFI work in other countries of conflict, like Cyprus and Israel-Palestine, it has gone beyond the boundaries of political, societal, and religious divide. There are no limitations to who we work with. Regardless of age, race, gender, or any other perceived diversity or life circumstance, the door is always open for new opportunities and possibilities. I was then able to contact Steve, and he informed me of the alumni movement and welcomed me back into the FFI family with no hesitation. Being in my 30s, I first felt that I was too old to make new friends and relate to the alumni that are, well, only a little bit younger than me, but I was embraced by everyone. They all shared their interest in hearing what the program was like back then, and it's incredible to hear how everyone's experience was so different, but so much of the same. During the global lockdown, FFI alumni and staff came together to create virtual Zoom workshops where we could share our skills, talents, and passions with each other. We did some great physical activities, for instance, workouts, dancing, Zumba, and yoga. We learned about each other's countries, cultures, different languages, and we even did an international snack swap. We did creative workshops such as poetry and cooking, and we were able to share our personal creations with each other, like photojournalism and short films. We even had some of our very own programs workshops, in particular goal setting, life maps, and speech writing. We were also very grateful that friends of FFI led some workshops for us, like when we had trivia with Marshall, baking with Bev, gardening with Jamie, and nautical knots with Leonard. And through our connections at FFI, we were lucky to have had the opportunity to listen to Miss Leona Tate share her story. She's a civil rights pioneer and community advocate. And we also gained an understanding of microaggressions from Anne during the height of the Black Lives Matter movement, which helped to educate us and learn more. Considering we had one workshop almost every day for a couple of months, I could list them all, but I won't, as it would honestly take up my entire speech and then some. But while the world was on pause, there was always such a vast variety of online meetups to attend and enjoy. Like on a Monday, I could be singing Let It Go from the movie Frozen in karaoke, to then the next day playing a participant-designed game of an FFI adapted Monopoly, showing all the places we have made and are currently making an impact. As alumni, we have also been able to join virtually with staff and treasured supporters of the program like yourselves to celebrate Bob Race Day on our late founder's birthday, have Pints for Peace, and we were able to surprise Leonard when he selflessly and lovingly donated his home to us, which both Shira and I had the pleasure of staying in during our program. So even though we were all thousands of miles apart and all over the world, with one click of a button and half decent internet connection, we came together. Just like right now, we have Bob in Illinois, Basilia in Seattle, and we can thank FFI for giving us the ability to all be in this virtual room despite the physical distance and various time zones between us. As an FFI family, we support each other, we praise and celebrate each other on our achievements, and we also encourage and champion one another on our current and future endeavours. Like this year, when Robin began her journey to study in medicine at university, and when Jess won an award for being the most inspirational student nurse of the year. Una, Shira, and I have the pleasure of also video chatting with Riverwoods, an independent care retirement community on 2 of their campuses in Exeter and Durham. We have had so much fun with the residents. We have sung songs, had Thanksgiving lunch together. We've laughed while telling jokes and cried as we shared precious stories and memories about our lives, something that I think we will all cherish forever. We have even really bonded with the staff. We have the honor of joining Megan this year in her family celebration of Kwanzaa, which is the perfect way for us to learn about and appreciate holiday traditions that are new to us. This year may have been one of the worst for the world, but 2020 has been one of the best for me. Everything I have achieved and gained this year alone with FFI will leave a lasting impression on my life. Don't worry, I won't list everything we have done again, but there is one more thing I'd like to share. While at a recent training event in November for a volunteering opportunity with a Belfast youth charity, I was asked about my background with young people and began sharing my experience with FFI. Not actually mentioning the program by name, one of the guys stopped me and asked if I was talking about Friends Forever. And as it turns out, he participated in 1995. He described how it changed his worldview at such a young age, that because of his time on the skill building phase, he fell in love with traveling so much he's been back to the US 18 times, and how the impact of the program inspired him to want to work with young people. I excitedly messaged Amelia to tell her about this chance meeting and asked if I could give Gary her details. He then reached out and shared pictures and stories of his time with Friends Forever. And this to me proves that you're never too old to re-engage. It's never too late to reconnect, and that there is always a place for you in the FFI family. I want to take this time to thank each and every person on this call, because with your belief in us and your continued support, FFI wouldn't be what it was when it began in 1986. It wouldn't be what it is today, and it wouldn't be what it will be tomorrow and beyond. Thank you.